when parents walk into your clinic today, what things are they most confused or anxious about?
It's very interesting that Vivek Murthy is the Surgeon General in USA, and he'd written an article a few months ago on parenting. And what he said was parents now spend more time, effort, and money on their children than ever before.
For sure.
And yet, parents are now so anxious whether they're doing enough, whether the children are going to do well subsequently. So, parents are trying to curate their children for long term success. So, a lot of the questions which come now are not medical, they're also behavior on how to make children successful and happy later in life. So, parents are very stressed about that. In fact, there was a Swedish psychologist, Penelope Leach, about 30 years ago. She had written a book called Good Enough Parenting. So, when you talk about good enough parenting, it means you can never be a perfect parent. You should just be a good enough parent because parenting is a journey which you're supposed to enjoy. It's not a task or a project. Your child is not a project that you have to make him into a successful, accomplished, wealthy person. So, this joy should not go. But a lot of these parents are coming with a lot of stress around this, which school and whether to send abroad and what are activities and how many classes. So this leads to a lot of stress in parents.
What are the different types of parenting styles and what are the pros and cons of each of them?
Four types of parenting styles have been described. This is based on how kind you are and how firm you are. By kind, you mean whether you're going to praise and show a lot of love. And firmness means you're going to discipline, be strict, set limits, and learn to say no to parents. So the four styles are the first is called authoritarian parenting. This is what was done in the earlier generations, where parents were firm but not kind. What they felt was that by being firm, it's like sparing the rod and spoiling the child. So they had to be firm so that the child would be brought up well. And they were a little reluctant to show too much kindness, but they felt by showing a lot of kindness, the child would be spoiled. These children typically became little meek and obedient. The current generation of parents is what you call permissive parents, where they show a lot of love, lot of kindness, praise excessively and sometimes inappropriately for even small amounts of effort. But they're very scared to set limits for these children. So these children turned out to be spoiled and sometimes entitled. And I recall a father once telling me when his child had a lot of problems in school socializing, that he said, I spent a lot of time in my childhood trying to impress my parents. And now I'm spending a lot of time as a parent trying to impress my child. So these children become entitled and sometimes spoiled. The most appropriate method of parenting is called authoritative parenting, where parents show a lot of love, so they're not scared of spoiling because they want the child to have emotional security, confidence, self esteem, but they're not scared to set limits. So when you set limits, you're learning to say no. Parents are looking to their children are looking to their parents for guidance about what to do and what not to do. And these children are generally well behaved, confident, willing to take risks, and do very well in life. So, this is the best parenting style. The worst parenting style, unfortunately, is called neglectful. So, neglectful is when the parents are not very engaged with the child. So, they are neither firm and nor are they kind. So, basically, the children are neglected. This, fortunately, is uncommon, but this can lead to severe consequence in the child. Many of these become delinquent and have behavior issues and antisocial elements.
Like you said, many parents do feel that I wasn't, very good friends with my father or my mother. They were a bit distant from me, older generation. Now I want to be my child's best friend. I want my child to be able to tell me everything. The very common thing, which many people are guilty of. So where is that? Can you give us a little tips on where is that line of like, is it okay to say I want my child to tell me everything, to confide in me fully like a friend? Or means can the child still be my friend, but I have limits? Means I can scold the child and I'm strict and I follow rules, but the child can still be my very good friend. Is that possible or is that?
I often hear parents say that my child is like my friend. And this is not appropriate. The child has enough friends, but they have only one set of parents. So parents can be friendly, but they're not supposed to be friends with the child. So part of your parenting responsibility is, yes, you want to make them feel good, you want them to feel lovable, confident, all that. But setting limits is very important. Because if you don't set limits, then what happens? They feel they can get away with anything. And then they have problems with their peers in childhood. They have problems with their marriage and relationships later, and they have problems at the workplace because they feel they can get away with anything. So, setting limits is very much a part of good parenting. But emotional security is very important. And there was one psychologist from Colombia, her name was Barbara Howard, and she had written a beautiful article that there are only two things you can give your children. One is make the child feel lovable and make the child feel capable. So just think about it, very simply put. If you feel lovable and if you feel capable, it means self esteem, it means self confidence, it means success in life. These are the only two things you have to give your children. It's very important that the channel of communication should always be open with the parent. So the child should not feel scared to speak, nor the child should feel that the parent will not support. Sometimes they're scared to tell, or sometimes they feel that the love will diminish. So once the child experiences what you call unconditional love, so even if the child shows the child's problems, difficulties, failures, the child is going to feel that the parent is going to be supportive and loved despite all that's going through. Then the child is made very secure. So this communication has to be there. But the parent should not be confiding her problems. And I've actually seen that parents have confided their marital issue problems with the children.
Yes.
And this is something which is totally wrong. The child is not your friend. So the parent is parent and the child is child, and that equation has to be maintained.
So it's like the child can treat you as a friend, but you can't treat the child as your friend.
Absolutely.
Got it. That's a very interesting distinction. And I know that happens a lot. And, on the other side, you have parents who are overprotective. Everybody's worried now about the environment, about infection, about this. A lot of parents are paranoid and anxious themselves. What kind of stress can that cause the child?
So you have two extremes. You have one set of parents who are extremely pushy and want the child to become a super achiever and cause stress. And you have another set of parents who can be overprotective. So they want to bubble wrap their children in such a way that they're protected from any adverse environment. So jokingly, it's sometimes called landmower parent, where they are like Lord Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, that the child's path has to be totally smooth. Or sometimes they're referred to as helicopter parents, that they're always hovering around the child, that any problem which comes, they'll swoop down, pick it up, and clear the pathway. So these are the overprotective parents. So when you have overprotective parents, it's the opposite. The children face no hurdles, they have no challenges, all the problems are solved by the parent, and they don't develop the skills to overcome challenges.
We talked about helicopter parents. What are tiger moms and tiger dads?
So these are very ambitious parents who actually want to fulfill their own ambitions through their children, and the children's success makes them feel good. So these are pressured children to perform. But the interesting part now, as a doctor, I'm telling you, is that if you see which are the toppers at school level and which are the toppers at undergraduate level, which are the toppers at postgraduate level, and which are the toppers at practice level, and you'll find that all these are totally different. So what this means is that pushing a child in school to become a super achiever does not give them any guarantee of success later in life, even less happiness.